Hello and welcome to week 23 of building Kamino. Today, last week we worked on the Bad Batch's quarters room, and thank you so much for the awesome response to that video. Everybody loved this room, so I really appreciate that. I did say last video I was hoping to get it finished this video. That's not going to be able to happen because those arches in light grey still have not come in, because the Bricklink user I bought them from went on holiday, so that's good. So they should be with me in the next week. But in the meantime, we're gonna have a shift to the left and work on these two very little rooms here. Let's get into it.
Move it, troopers! On the double! Fire!
Okay, so you may have remembered when I started to basically redesign the entire second floor, I left these two rooms open so I could think of what to put in there. And we did decide what was going to go into this room, that being basically the very small scene in the Bad Batch premiere where Lamassu keeps the door open to let the Bad Batch shuttle escape. So basically I'm going to have a large control panel up on one of these walls, and just that's basically all that's going to be in this room because I don't really have anything else to put in there. This room, I'm really struggling to think of what to put in there, so much so that I did a live stream basically saying, hey, I don't know what to put inside this room and the Kamino update has to come out tomorrow, so please help me. But basically, that's how that went. But I do know what I'm going to do in here now, and that's going to be the meeting room, I think I'm going to end up calling it, which is basically, you see it both in the Bad Batch and episode 2 even, where there's these like large swoop down hanging chairs which Kamino and another person sit in. So that looks quite interesting and different, to say the least. And I'm very interested to design it. So let's get into the walls first. Okay, so after a little bit, a little bit being about 20 seconds, I figured out a really quick floor pattern, just mixing in the greys and the sand blues and the whites just to create that general kind of colour tone that's going on in the room. So now I just need to build up some walls. Okay, so with some quick walls done in there, I'm not hugely happy with it. It does look really, really simple, and much simpler than I'd probably like it to, but basically what the main thing in this room is going to be the chairs. Like with these like smaller little rooms, like with the bigger rooms like the barracks or the quarters or the training facility, detail's the key. With these smaller rooms, they're kind of more just place fillers than anything, just what would have been empty space anyway. I'm just putting in a little room or something, so detail isn't entirely the key here. And also I'm kind of running out of time to get this update out, so let's just keep building and let's get those chairs in. And after a long time on a live stream trying to figure out how to build this, this is my best approximation of what the spoon chair looks like. Quick point, I will be referring to these chairs as the spoon chairs and the room with them as the spoon room for the rest of the episode. It was basically a meme among my live chat that they looked like spoons, so it's henceforth known as the spoon room with the spoon chairs. I know it sounds inappropriate, just go with it. It's not perfect and not perfectly as rounded as I want it to be, but when you look at the actual thing, it is not an easy shape to get out of Lego, so I think I've tried my best. Could I have probably done it better? Yes, but you know, for now I think this is pretty good. It doesn't quite have a floor to it. You can see that it isn't actually fully connected. It's just kind of hanging on in there, held together, angled with some wedge grills, and then some just clips which are like half stuck in, and then some underside of boat pieces to figure it out. For some reason this wedge plate has a bunch of blue specks on it. I'm not sure what that is, so I need to get a new one of those from Bricklink. And then I made a start on the second chair as well, and then I made a start on the second chair as well, but I need another one of those wedges. So once I've got two of those, that'll be the two chairs pretty much done. So now let's place them into the room and put a roof on it. And there you have it, with slightly incomplete parts. This is basically what what's now known as the spoon room is pretty much looking like. As I said before, it's kind of tiny and the chairs hardly fit in it, but it's basically all I can fit into this room. when all things are said and done. It's basically like just me trying my best to fit in what I can in this space. But next we're going to do the same thing over here in this even smaller space. Now, I said in the intro that I was going to do the scene where Lamassu stops leaves the hangar door open so the Bad Batch shuttle can escape. I've since decided against that because in my chat, or basically when we were looking at concept images to get that scene, we found, we were reminded of a scene from the Complete Saga video game where there's in fact a disco room within Kamino. Now, when you look at that room, you can see that the disco floor is made by 4x4 tiles, and you can see that there's nowhere in the mock where that room would fit besides this area here, which is already going to be filled with the mess hall, which should be coming in the next few weeks. So I thought instead of doing them 4x4 studs, I did them 1x1 studs in here and made a tiny, like, scaled down disco room in this little box here, just as a little nod to the game. So that's what we're going to try and do next. Okay, so I've really quickly thrown together some speakers. This is just some Technic bricks and then some dishes stuck into the Technic bricks. Super simple. These are either going to go in the back corners or in the back walls. I haven't entirely decided which one yet, but I think they look pretty cool. Now to actually figure out the colours for the dance floor. So that's kind of my best approximation of the disco floor. I know it's not perfect, but it's basically just, it kind of looks a bit more like a ball pit than it does a than a dance floor or whatever, but I'm happy with it. It's cute. It really adds a nice, like, different type of color. It looks like all my filler stuff, but this will be out in the open. So it's just different, and I'm really excited to have this in the mock. So let's put the walls in and finish up this room. And there you have it. That's pretty much the disco room completed. I've got like a little record in there, which I just wanted to put for a little bit more detail in the center of the room. I've got the speakers up, and I'm really happy with it. As I said, these two rooms are super simple. It's just I had these gaps in the back and I wanted to fill them, and this is what I've done. This gap here is for my big light, which goes into the back of there, which lights up the main hangar section. But between that, that's pretty much these rooms done. So that's it for this week's Building Kamino. Hopefully you enjoyed this week. If you like this week's update, like the video. That's what the like button's there for. Comment your favourite thing we got done this week. For me, it's the spoon room was a lot of fun to mess around with, and it had a lot of funny memes on the live stream. But I think I actually like the end result of the disco room a little bit more. Sorry that this video was a little bit, like, sorry, the techniques of these rooms aren't up to my usual standard. I was kind of just completely run out of time to build this week. So this is basically just what I have. But I'll see you, but I promise next week we will see an improvement. And if you're new, subscribe so you do not miss what comes next week. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate it. And goodbye. I think this is the only way I can keep my live chat in the premiere, so yeah. Goodbye.